Okay. So today we're going to start on Ayin Chesamid Amid Beis. That's 78B on the bottom. Let me mute. Okay.
When the time changes on Sunday.
We change the clock with the Shabbos?
Sunday.
Sunday, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 o'clock.
2 in the morning, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day, and in this chosur learning, we should have the base of Mikdash immediately. It says like this: it's a Mishnah on all the way on the bottom, Vayin Ches. You see that on the bottom, very at the end, 4 lines from the bottom. Misha Nasan Rishus L'Shluchai L'Kadish Espitei. Someone gave permission, gave the rights. He appointed a messenger to go and betroth his daughter to someone. That's the case, right? He's not sending a messenger to betroth his daughter to the messenger. Sending a messenger to betroth his daughter to someone else, right? Like Eliezer, right? Is that the case? To someone else?
One authorized his agent to betroth his daughter.
For him, which means not to the agent, but to someone else. So the agent is just going to accept the Kiddushin on behalf of the father of the daughter who accepts the Kiddushin, right? Usually the woman accepts the Kiddushin. Over here, it's a young girl, so it's the father that accepts the Kiddushin. So he's giving this over to an agent. Okay. But however, the father went and he did a Kiddushin himself. He says, that agent is a waste of time. I have to do this myself. Shalom sir. So, if the father's Kiddushin came before the agent made it to whoever it was and accepted the money. But if the father did it first, then Kiddush of Kiddushin, then the father's Kiddushin is the main Kiddushin. But if the Shliach did the Kiddushin before the father, in other words, the Shliach accepted the ring before the father did, we're talking about the different people here, right? So then Kiddush of Kiddushin, then his Kiddushin is good. Whichever one came first. The Rashi says that when the father does a Kiddushin, so he's mevatel the shliach, he's nullifying the agency, right? The power of attorney that he gave to the agent. My question is, why does he need to do that? She's a married woman. Doesn't need to be. The agent is nothing without him being mevatel the agent. If once she's married to a man, there's no. I don't care if he's an agent or not. It can't marry a married woman. Now, the explanation, what Rashi means to say, as we'll see in the Gemara, you want to offer an answer?
I was thinking that even if the father himself accepted multiple Kiddushin, like the first one.
That's only the first one, right? Right. So it doesn't have to do with the agency. The answer is that the father may have said that I'm doing this in case the agent doesn't work out. And it really looks like it's a marriage of just in case. Maybe the shliach isn't going. So therefore, he wasn't mevatel. If he's not mevatel the agency, then really his Kiddushin was really maybe dependent on the agency. Dependent if the messenger comes through, then his is nothing. It says no. Once you go and do a Kiddushin, you nullify the agency. There's no condition that maybe it was. That's I think the point of it.
I think it could also be that the guy died, for example. The husband, the husband that the father was Mekadesh with died, so she's no longer a married woman. So then it would still work.
Then the agency doesn't work at all. That's a very good answer.
It's not my answer. I heard that somewhere.
Okay.
Where the trophies?
Nevertheless. Okay, do you hear what Daniel's saying? Daniel's saying that it could be that the father's choice of husbands for his daughter died. And the shliach goes ahead and accepts Kiddushin for the daughter. But since the fathers came first, the father had already annulled the shliach. the power of attorney that he gave to the shliach, and it's nothing. Okay.
Rabbi, so if it- hold on, I'm hearing myself. It sounds like a deja vu, like we learned this.
Did
or
we have
very
this before?
similar-
We had it in Yavamas, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
because-
not. No, that's something
But
else.
we learned
We've had
something
things
very
similar to this, yeah.
this.
Definitely, yeah. We had this. If we don't know who came first, so Shneim nice and get, both of them need to give a divorce. Bimratzu. And if they want, nice and get, one of them can give a get, and the other one can actually marry the woman. There's no problem here. One of them can, I guess they would give another Kiddushin, if maybe the first one was nothing. The same thing applies to a woman. A woman, let's say she gave permission, that we're talking about, she's a little older. The last case was a father who's marrying off his daughter that's under 12, right? Now we're talking about a woman that's older than 12, and she's doing her own, 12 and a half. She's doing her own Kiddushin. And she makes a shliach to go accept the money for her from this fellow. And then she went and she married herself to someone else. If her Kiddushin, if she accepted a ring from someone else before the shliach, before the shlucha accepted the ring, so Kiddushin, then she's married. Her husband, her choice of husbands is the one. Vimshal shlucha kadmo, Kiddushav Kiddushin. And if her shlucha, it's shliach shalah. Doesn't have to be a woman, right? It doesn't have to be a shlucha. It could be shliach shalah with a mapake, right? Her shliach. So if he came first, then it's a Kiddushin. Then his is a Kiddushin. V'mein yaidim, exactly the same halacha. Shneim noisim laget, v'imratzu echad noisim laget, v'echad kenes, and if they want, one of them can stay with her, and one of the choices can stay, another one can give her a get. Okay. Now the Gemara obviously, yeah.
I was wondering, does the same thing apply if it's male? Because I know the laws are kind of different.
What do you mean if it's a male?
Instead of
A
a
woman.
woman, her father designating the
Yeah.
because the male would have to approve. And then in the case of him, if he designates somebody, will the same thing apply?
Are you saying if a man designates someone to do Kiddushin on a woman? It's totally different, because over there he can marry multiple wives. Over here he can only have one. She can only have one husband. So it's either this one or that one.
Doesn't have to give a
Yeah, it
get
doesn't
if
mean the
she-
same thing in the other
That's a
way.
whole different-
Rabbi, so another question. The last couple of days we learned, this whole thing about if they were married and then they got divorced and she married another guy, you couldn't remarry her, otherwise you could. Why doesn't the Gemara ask the question here? She got married. We don't really know who she got married to. Then it says if they agree, one can give her a divorce and then she can, I don't know if it means remain married or go ahead with ensuing for the other one. But why doesn't the Gemara say, but she was married to someone else in between step A and step C?
No, because it's either or. Either she was married to this guy the whole time, or she was never married to this guy. She's not returning to her ex. It's not returning to her. There's two people,
But it's a suffix.
I know, but a suffix doesn't mean that a suffix means it is a yes or a no. So if she stays with Mr. A, so there's two options. Either Mr. A was the one that was really first the whole time, everything was done. She's not returning to her. And if Mr. B was the real one, so she was never married to Mr. A. Mr. A was just like a fake. It was never, she's marrying Mr. A now for the first time. Yeah, it's not like she's divorced and going back to someone that. Oh yeah, I don't know how they're going to resolve it. Jonathan is asking how do they resolve which husband is going to be have the rights to take her when they're arguing. Yeah. So Dr. Stein suggests that they have a duel. What is that? Yeah.
It's much safer. I'd say.
After that, is there a witnesses involved in this, like, first step?
There's always witnesses, but we don't have witnesses that are telling us the exact time. They're all saying that it was on such and such a day. What time of the day? I don't know. Utricha. So we had two cases in the Mishnah, and it's necessary. Both cases are necessary. What are the two cases? One is where a father marries off his daughter. The other one is where a woman marries herself off. And both cases have a messenger. We don't know who was first. We need both of those. If it would only be talking about the father, where the father, like the first case, father's marrying off his daughter. Now, I think what this means is that the father is aware of lineage. So that's why when he goes ahead and he finds a husband for his daughter, he settled on it, and that's it. And then he was mevatel the shliach. He said, "I found the best," and everything else is batal. However, but by a woman, the leikim la biyachsin, but she doesn't know if she found the best lineage. So maybe we should say that she has an intention that if the shliach, her shlucha, finds someone that's better, then she would go with that one. This concept of that they're nullifying the shliach because they went ahead and got married first. That applies to the father that thinks he found the best. But by the wife who doesn't really know about the yuchsin, she doesn't know how to do all of that research. So maybe she says, "Look, I don't know if the shliach's going to get. I'm getting older. I have to quickly get married. But if he finds something, then she's still relying on that." Maybe if it would say the opposite, I could have thought the opposite. I said, it's a daika mitzvah. I could have thought that the woman is very careful who she chooses to get married, and therefore she is nullifying her agency once she chooses someone. But when it comes to the man, comes to the father, I think that maybe he's just marrying her off just in case. He doesn't care. It was not like he was so careful. He was like, "Look, I got to find her someone, as long as he doesn't have a record of whatever." So this could be good enough. But it was really a just in case. But if the shliach finds someone appropriate, so then he would have agreed to that. So tricha. So we need both cases. Okay, Itmar. We have a statement from Amiraim. This is a discussion. It's really a shas sugya. It's like the very, very general discussion, but it's going to take us through to the next page. It goes like this. You have this discussion in a lot of masechtas. Okay, it goes like this. Kid Shavia B'derech. Father took Kiddushin for her on the road. B'kid Shatzma B'ir. And she, meanwhile, took Kiddushin for herself in the city. Now, there's a problem here because if she's under the father's care, then she's not under her own care. Okay.
Oh, so she can't.
So the only thing is,
Pick someone else
Vaharehi Bageres, but she is a Bageres. That means she's 12 and a half. So, but she just became a Bageres right now. So she just became 12 and a half. Nairo is in between, and now she's a Bageres. But once she's a Begeres, then her father doesn't have rights over her, and she has her own rights.
It was Tana,
No.
Katana Naira Begeres. Yeah. So Rav says that today is her birthday, her half birthday, 12 and a half. Right? The little kids are still counting at the half birthdays. There's more presents there. 12 and a half. So
I'll be 13.
So Rab says she's a begeris today. That means what her father did was nothing. She's a mature person, and she could take her own kedushin. So Rab Amari begeris lefanenu. What the father did was nothing. Look, she's already old enough. Shmuel says, look, the father accepted kedushin in the morning. Now she's a begeris today. Now I have to add in one extra point that the physical features of her body, that's the visible signs of being a woman become apparent when she's a begeris. So when did those features appear? Those features appeared right now, but could be that they were already there in the morning.
So an Naira doesn't have the sign.
Right.
Here it does.
So we're talking about like the breasts are so Rav says, look, she's a begeris right now. She was probably a begeris in the morning, so which means that the father's Kiddushin is nothing. Shmuel says, no, we only checked now, and she's a begeris right now. But it could be in the morning. She was still in an immature age, and the father's Kiddushin is good. So we have to suspect. We don't know what was going on in the morning. We didn't check it. We knew 6 months ago that she wasn't, right? And we know today she is. Right now she is. But what about the middle?
The same thing as they could make here.
Mikvah's coming up.
Does the Naira have monthly menstrual cycle?
She could even have as a katana.
Oh.
Yeah. But the Gemara discusses when you start to suspect when it's only after she sees the first 3 times, then you start to suspect that she's someone that sees regularly, and then you start with that. But it could even be as a katana. And then she's tame even with 1 drop of blood, even as a child. But, okay. Amos, when exactly are we talking about? Are we talking about during the 6 months between Nairis and Bagris? Rav is going to say then that, look, she's already mature. Why should we assume that she's already mature when she hasn't even passed the 6 months? The 6 months is the limit. That's the limit of how long it takes between Nairis and Bagris, between that first level of maturity and the second level. But somewhere in the middle, she could still become mature. But why should we assume that she became mature? She wasn't. She used to be a child. Just because right now you see, but it's probably because it's only came right now. So hashtuhu de bagra, it's only came right now. It's probably after 6 months. The Gemara says 1 second. It can't be after 6 months. Shmuel would say that you suspect to both of them. If it's after 6 months, for sure the father's Kiddushin is nothing. How was the traffic?
Oh.
Yeah, where are you coming from?
Around the corner.
Uh-huh. Then the Mendy and the Golem, he said, I just flew in from Chicago. So they told him, I bet your arms are tired. So Shmuel, but Shmuel says, the whole thing is only 6 months. The whole thing is only 6 months. So how could Shmuel say that we suspect to the father's Kiddushin? The father doesn't have any rights after the 6 months. I gave it away beforehand. We're talking about that it was exactly the day that she became a begeris, on the day of the 6 months. Well, Rav Amar begeris lefanenu midahashta begeris b'tzafanar begeris. Rav says that, look, she's a begeris. She's mature. And since we see that she's mature now, she was probably mature in the morning as well. Shmuel Amar hashtu daisi simanim. I guess it means it's the last day of the 6 months, right? Where she can still, because once this day passes, then she's a begeris automatically. So it's the last day of the 6 months. That's what it looks like. And Shmuel says, no, she got it right now, these signs, and she didn't have it before. So Shmuel, Maishnami mikvah, the Gemara asks, according to Shmuel, why is this different than the case of the mikvah? This Hillel mentioned this before. That where did we have this? This comes up all over the place. Got it in Gittin. Right? Oh yeah. So I remember it from 7 years ago. So it says like this: mikvah shenimdad v'nimtza chasa. If you measure a mikvah and you see that it's missing from the 40 sa, mikvah has to have 40 sa of water. And so all taharis, all pure grain that was done with vessels in this mikveh, they're all tummy. Whether it's in Rosh Hashanah, whether it's in Rosh Hashanah, the significance of that is a suffix tumah, a doubtful tumah in a Rosh Hashanah, we assume is tummy, and a doubtful tumah or just a rabba we assume is tar. We learn this from a saita. A saita, when she's secluded, she's called tameh. But when would she be tameh? Only in a private area, private tameh. She would be secluded. That means she's in a private area. But in a public area, we say that she's tahar, right? She wasn't secluded. So over here, 3 people is considered Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah. So her, the paramar, and someone else. If someone else was there, then it wouldn't be a problem. So whatever the case is, we say that it's tameh. And so why over here are we saying, the Shmuel say that it's a doubt? Over there we say that all the grain is tameh. In other words, you had vessels, they were tameh. You put the vessels in the mikveh, now they're tahar. And you take the grain and you put it into those vessels. We're saying that since we've now looked at the mikveh and the mikveh wasn't good, we say that those vessels are tameh, the grain is tameh. So we're going back and we're saying that the mikveh right now is not good. It also wasn't good previously as well. So we're saying the same thing for Shmuel, that right now the woman is a begeres. So we should go look back and say that she was probably a begeres before as well. And so therefore the marriage of the father should be nothing. Why is Shmuel saying that the marriage is a doubt?
The last example, the mikveh was the complete opposite. It said that everything was sour until it was checked, and then from that point on, it keeps its status until it no longer has a status. That was the last example. The opposite.
Can't be. Can't be.
Then I understood completely opposite. But that's
It can't be. You'll see in a minute. Gemara says, Shani Hasam, Dikalamemer Hematame al Chaskase Vemalei Taval. By the mikveh, it's different. We have an impure vessel. You're trying to tell me that the vessel changed its status to being pure. The only way that you can change that status to being pure is if you tell me that the status changed. But now that you're telling me that the mikveh was a doubt, so I have to put the original, it's called the chazaka demikara. Originally, that keli, that vessel, was tameh, and I only know that it changed because of the mikveh, but the mikveh is a doubt, so I don't know that that status changed. So therefore, I have to say that that the mikveh, that the pure the grain that was done here is all tameh because of the status of the vessel that it had originally.
The second to last machlokas in the Mishnah is in the davening. So it talks about 2 guys in the mikveh, 2 men in the tub. All right. So mikveh yesh ba'avim, so mechubanos. It had 4. 2 guys went in. Tavu zeh chazeh. And gayon. Arisha. So the first opinion says Rishon Torah Shem Tameh. The second one's Tameh, which is kind of very similar to what we're saying here. Wait, Rabbi Yehuda me imayu raglav sharisha nogas b'mayim avasheni toho. If the guy's first one still had a leg in there, which means it was still 40, then the second guy is toho. So why can't we say here that no? We just discovered this last second. It's like raglav sheni that it's now a problem. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, he still made it in. From now on, it's no good, and therefore retroactively.
Yeah. The way you understand Rabbi Yehuda is that the surface area of the moisture around this person's body is all still connected to the water.
Yeah.
So once he steps out, once his feet step out, so then you've disconnected all of that water that's on his body.
The first guy.
Whoever has his foot still in the water. Once he steps out, so then it's missing water. Okay, over here, we don't know who the last guy was in the mikveh. We come here and it's missing a saw. It's only 39 saw. So when did it go missing? We don't know when it went missing. All right.
I got it.
I think the difference here with the other mikveh is the whole person. They were talking about like people.
I know, but the person should also has a chazaka that he was tameh. Did you find it? Okay.
I think it's more than a week old.
So the Gemara says, 1 second. So what we're trying to say over here is that we're going to compare this to the woman that the woman doesn't really have much of a chazaka that she used to be a katana, because we know that all katanas get older. get right. So what do you mean? You used to be a child, right? So how did all of a sudden you? But we know that they change, so that's not our issue. And 1 second, Adarabba, Hemid Mikval Chaskasiv Emelechasir. You're looking only at the grain. You're looking at only at the vessel, and you're saying that the vessel has a chazaka demi kara that it used to be tummy. And how do you want to change that? You want to change that by saying that it went into the mikvah. But if the mikvah is no good, then you can't change it. So you look at the chazak of the grain. The Gemara says, why are you looking at the chazak of the grain or the chazak of the vessel? You should be looking at the chazak of the mikvah. The mikvah used to be good. And now it's only now that you're seeing that it changed. So it should be good up until you know that it changed. So the Gemara says, but you can't say that because you see, look, now it changed. It's missing. So you can't say, when do you say a chazaka demi kara when you don't know what the status is right now? But now I have a chazaka dahashta. And I have a chazaka demi kara. I have an assumption of based on what it is now. I have assumption based on what it was before. That's contradictory. I can't say that I should look at the mikvah's own chazaka before, because right now there's a problem with that chazaka. You see, it's not kosher.
Isn't this mikvah continuously connected to water underground?
No, no,
it's not.
No.
So isn't the nature of water to evaporate?
Exactly, it evaporates. So we don't know when it evaporated. I know that last week I was here and I put all my kalim in it. So the Gemara says, well,
you know, a rate.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. There's a rate of evaporation. Like you could probably calculate how long it would take for the water to disappear.
Right.
And you
Depending
figure
on,
it out.
yeah, it's like the sign saying, figure it out. But we still have doubts of how much there was originally. And, there's information that we're missing to be able to figure that out. Mm-hmm. How many people went in?
You have to know the barometric pressure.
And we also mentioned it was kind of the same thing with the air. The air gets checked every now and then. And we're
maybe you said good. Okay, so you're looking at other things. Okay. But by the mikveh, you have a problem because of the chazaka of the items that were tummy. By other things, you don't have those chazakas, right? You don't have the chazaka of something else that was no good and you tried to fix it. That's the problem with the mikveh. Okay, so the Gemara says, well, take a look at this. It's exactly the same as the mikveh. The mikveh has a chazaka right now, that right now it's not complete, it's missing. And now the woman also has a chazaka right now. She's not under her father's jurisdiction. She's a begeris. So whatever we say about the mikveh that it goes backwards, we should say about her that it goes back, and her father's Kiddushin should be nothing. So it says 1 second, no, hashtahu the bagra, but she only became a begeris now. The Gemara says hasam nami hashtahu the chaser. Maybe by the mikveh you want to say the same thing, that right now it's missing. So it says hasam tartil reis. So by the mikveh you have two problems. But over here, over here you only have one problem. What's the two problems by the mikveh? The mikveh, I have a chazaka that the mikveh used to be kosher, but I ruined that chazaka with right now it's not kosher. So that's a reyesa. It's something, right now it's not kosher, ruins the chazaka de mikara. That's one thing. Another problem I have is that I have tamei items that went into this mikveh that also have a chazaka de mikara, that they used to be tamei, and right now I have no chazaka that's ruining that. So I have the strength of the items that used to be tamei, plus a ruined chazaka of the mikveh. I say that the items are still tamei.
The negatives don't make a positive.
Two negatives,
Not
right? They make it tamei. Hacha, but over here, I don't have any other chazaka that's coming in to strengthen the fact that she's a begeris right now. All I have is that she's a begeris right now, which means that the fact that she used to be a ketana is a problem, because right now she's a begeris. But I don't have like something else like by the mikvah that I have those tamei things. So all I have is the doubt. When did she become a begeris? And that's what Shmuel says. It's a doubt.
right. Why don't we take it the other side? Say, now she being a begeris, she got engaged to somebody. Now it's two positives. Those two positives.
I don't know who she got engaged to. Did she get engaged to her father's choice, or did she get engaged to her choice?
Oh, that question is still there.
Yeah. They are. Rav and Shmuel are fighting it out for her. The Gemara says, Shmuel, Maishna Mechavis. We try it, it's different. We said, what about the barrel of wine that someone was taking truma by designating wine in a certain barrel, saying that this other wine that I'm drinking, the truma is in this such and such a barrel number 38, is the truma barrel or whatever. So then he opens the barrel. Take a look what happens. He opens the barrel to separate the truma. Oh, he opened the barrel to separate truma, and to continuously this number barrel, whichever one it was, and then 38, and then he finds that it was vinegar. So what do you do about all the truma that he's been separating all this time since when he checked the barrel before, and now he comes back, a month or two later, and it's vinegar. It used to be so good.
But vinegar was worth more.
No, okay. Even if it's worth more, but you can't separate vinegar off wine. The truma has to be separated from the same type, and vinegar and wine are considered separate. So it says, all 3 days are considered definite, and from then on it's a suffix. Now there's a machlokes in Bava Basra. What this means. One opinion says, all 3 days from when you checked it last time, it still remains wine. Wine lasts for sure for 3 days. After that, we don't know if it was vinegar up until now. So the first 3 days after that, you checked it on Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's considered wine, and the truma that you took for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is good. But after that, it's all a doubt. We don't know when it went bad. We know it's bad now, but we don't know if it went bad in the middle. That's one opinion. The other opinion says like this: all 3 days from right now going backwards, it's for sure vinegar. Because if it's 100% vinegar now, it was vinegar already from 3 days ago. So, but before that, I don't know if it was vinegar before that. So there's 3 days, whatever the case is. This machlokes, I have to learn this Mishnah. Whatever the case is, we're looking now that there's a doubt in the there's a doubt in the about the wine that takes us back. The Gemara says, so is the Gemara asking that Shmuel should have the doubt, or is the Gemara asking that Shmuel should have the definite? Well, first the Gemara says, Baraminu, it can't be the doubt because Shmuel holds of the doubt, right? Shmuel also says that there's a doubt. The Gemara says, there's a contradiction between the barrel and the mikveh. By the barrel, we say that there's a doubt. By the mikveh, we say that it's definite. The Gemara says, why by the mikveh do you say that it's definitely tamei, right? And by the truma, you say that it's a doubt. Is it truma or is it not? Which basically means that you can't say that the wine basically you have to take truma again. Yeah, that's Rab Chanina Misura says, when we told you the Mishnah about the mikveh, we only told you one opinion, the Rabbanan's opinion. There is another opinion of Reb Shimon that he says that by the mikveh, the vessels that were put into the mikveh are also a doubt. Who's the author of the brisa of the Mishnah of the barrel, of the brisa of the barrel? That was the opinion of Reb Shimon that says it's a doubt. So it's actually comparable. The mikveh and the barrel is exactly the same opinion. The Tanya was taught in the brisa. Kol tar shnasu al gaba v'mafreya b'im b'shus rab b'im b'shus yachad b'im b'shus rab t'meis. Reb Shimon b'shus rabim taris b'shus yachad tailan. Reb Shimon says that in the b'shus rabim, if the mikveh is in a public area, we say that it's pure. Everything is pure because we consider a doubt of tumah in a public area to be pure. And if it's in a private area, we say tailan. We say that that we're not sure. Basically, it could be tameh. Aval Rabbanan, the Gemara asks, but according to the first opinion, not Reb Shimon, tevel lemafreya. According to the Rabbanan, we should say the Rabbanan by the mikveh, that they say that it's definitely no good, right? Everything that was put in there is tameh. We should say the same thing by the barrel, and we should say that it's definitely not truma, right? Why are you saying that it's a doubt? We should say only 3 days, let's say, is considered 3 days after the last checking should be wine. And from then on, it should be for sure not shum. It should be vinegar. See, it's vinegar right now. It's the same, exactly like what they said by the mikveh. It says Shani Hasim Diklamemer Hem and Tavi Al Chazchasi Ve'ema. Over there by the mikveh, we have the chazaka of the tamei items. Umar says, well, so what? Adarabah Hem Yain Al Chazchasi Ve'ema Lehichmitz. He says, on the contrary, over here you have the wine. The barrel. We should say that the barrel used to be. If you're looking at what it used to be, that's what we're doing by the mikveh. We're saying that it used to be tamei, those items. So therefore, they should continue to be tamei. By the barrel, we should say that it used to be wine. It should continue to be wine. It says you can't say that because you see now it's vinegar.
So don't look.
No,
Oh,
right.
don't
You
taste
can't.
it.
But you can't put it on its assumption when you know that assumption has changed.
You only know that because you looked. If you don't look, you don't know what
Too late. Yeah, he looked. So 1 second. So right now we should say the same thing. Look, this woman right now is a begeres. So if you're gonna say that the problem is that once you check, then it's too late, right? Once you check, you see that the wine is now vinegar. And so therefore you can't say that you go back and say that it used to be wine, because right now, so the same thing should be by this woman. We should say that we should say that right now she's a begeres, and we can't go back and say that she used to be not a begeres. But the Gemara says hashtu de bagra, but she only became a begeres now. So achanami hashtu de ichmitz. Right now she is when the wine went sour, possibly.
But the check is in the name.
So the Gemara says hasam tarti l'reyasa. By the wine, there's two problems. One problem is that I know this wine used to be wine. Right now, it's not wine. So that's the problem number one, is that there's a reyasa, there's a defect in the chazaka. It used to be wine, but we've seen that now it's not. So it's not a strong chazaka that it used to be wine. And I have another issue, is that I was using this wine to take it as truma for something that needed truma to be removed from. And so those items didn't have truma removed from it until I used this wine. So because I don't know if this is wine, so I have to put this on its original chazaka that is still tevel. So that's why over there I would say that it's definitely tevel. But over here I only have one problem. One problem is that she used to be a ketana and now she's a begeres, and that's it. That's my only problem. So therefore I would say that it's a doubt. Even the Rabbanan that say that it's a definite, by the begeres would say it's a doubt. That's Shmuel explaining the Rabbanan. Shmuel that says that this marriage is a doubt, it explains it according to the Rabbanan. That why did the Rabbanan by the mikveh and by the chavis say differently? So that's because over there this tarti l'reyasa. There's two problems. Okay. Nema ketanai. Let us say that the machlekes Rav and Shmuel, how to look at this girl, do we say that in the morning she was a begeres already because she is in the afternoon, which is the opinion of Rav, or do we say that it's a doubt what she is in the morning? It's the opinion of Shmuel. That's the machlekes tanaim. It says mi ma'itzi miyad mi. We're talking about a case over here where someone gives everything that he owns when he's on his deathbed. He gives it away. Now, if he would retain some of his wealth for himself, some of his possessions, then we would say that what he gave as a gift is already given as a gift, and what he retained is retained. Now, it turns out that he didn't actually die. They thought he was going to die. Did I tell you about that? It's for kids. It's called Sisters. It's a Jewish girl. Anyway, in there, there's this woman that she's in there for in the hospital for a heart attack, and she's giving all her money away, and these girls are running around trying to do whatever it needs to get. But it turns out the doctors had mixed up the things. she was there for heartburn. It was the lady next door that was, and anyway. So, so meanwhile, this person had given away everything, thinking that he's dying, and turns out that he didn't die. So if he would have retained something, then we would say that what he has given, he has given. What he has given, he has given. And what he retained, right? But his gift is a real gift. You see that he took into consideration that maybe he won't die. But you see that from the fact that he kept some of his possession. But here, because he gave away everything, so it was obviously because he was intending that he wasn't going to need anything left. He thought he was going to die. But it turns out that all of that was a mistake because he didn't die. So the halach is that he should really be able to take it back. Okay, what happened now is that there's an argument between him and his recipients, the gift, the people that got the money. They're saying, when you gave us the gift, you were actually perfectly healthy. It was a regular gift. Why did you give everything? I don't know, but you gave everything. So that was your choice. And he's saying, no, I only gave it because I was on my deathbed. But it turns out that I wasn't really dying, so now I want it back. So me might me ad me, who can take it away from each other? Who might me adam? The first opinion here is that he takes it, the person that was dying, he takes it back. He doesn't have to bring a proof. But they can't take it out of his hands without a proof that he was dying. Without a proof that he wasn't dying. Okay. Different Rabbi Yaakov, that's Rabbi Yaakov's view. Rab Nassan Aimer in Barihu, if he's healthy, Allah Laviraya Sheish Chivmira. Rab Nassan says, you look at how he is now. Right now he's healthy. So you have to prove that you used to be not healthy. You're going to need a letter from the doctors. But if he's not healthy now, then they have to bring a proof that he actually was healthy. So whatever the situation is now, that's how we assume that it was in the past. That's Reb Nassan's view. Who holds that regarding the girl? That's Reb Yaakov. That's Rav's view. Rav's view is that if right now she's a Baigeres, so Hari Baigeres of Anenu, you see she is right now a Baigeres, and her marriage is the acceptable one, and her father's is not, because we see that she's a Baigeres right now. Who says that it's a doubt? That was Shmuel says that it's a doubt, but how would that fit with Rabbi Yaakov? Whatever the case is, I don't say, according to Rabbi Yaakov, that because he's healthy right now, that he must have been healthy previously. I don't say that. So therefore, Rabbi Yaakov would fit with Shmuel, and Rabbi Nassan would fit with Rav. It says, name a Rav, Damar Rabbi Nassan, and Shmuel, Damar Rabbi Yaakov. Let's say that the Machlekes Rav and Shmuel is really a machlekes that takes us back to the 2 generations earlier, to the days of the Tanaim, to Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Nassan. Amalach Rav. So this is the Amiraim don't like when this happens, because they want to be able to go according to both opinions, and also it looks odd that instead of saying that I paskin like this person, they just repeat the opinion without ignoring that whole machlekes. So they would like to really be able to go according to both. Each Rav and Shmuel would like to go according to Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Nassan, and say they would both agree with me. So Amalach Rav would be able to tell you, I could say even according to Rabbi Yaakov that says that you don't look at the chazak of what it is now. Adkan like Rabbi Yaakov Hasan. Why did Rabbi Yaakov say over there that the because you could say that the money used to belong to this original fellow that was on his deathbed. But over here, do you want to say? You see, money, when you place it in someone's bank, it stays there until you do an action. It's supposed to belong to this person. But this woman, this girl, it's not that if you leave her, she's going to remain a child forever. You can't say that you have to leave her on her chazaka, that what it used to be. Because there is no chazaka. We know that she grows up and she's going to mature. So you can't. So Rav is saying that really Rabbi Yaakov would agree with me about the girl. Okay. Shmuel Amar, and Shmuel says, "Anadam refilu Rav Nassan." Shmuel says, "I can go even according to Rav Nassan." Rav Nassan fit with Rav. Because Rav Nosson says that you look at the chazaka, what it is now, and you take that back. And Shmuel doesn't say that. Shmuel says you don't look at what it is now. So he says, why does Rav Nosson say that? Because most of the world, or everyone in the world, is healthy. If you want to say that you were sick, so then you have to bring a proof to that. But do you want to say that it's odd for a woman to go from being a child to being a begeris, or that she was that? See, Reb Nosson says that you look at it what it is now. You're trying to prove that you were sick, so go ahead and prove that. You have to change that. For that, gonna have to bring a proof. Shmuel would say that even though Reb Nosson holds that by a sick person, that he has to prove that he was sick, that's only because most of the world is healthy. But over here, you want to say that you were a begeris beforehand because now you're a begeris. That's not necessarily so. Every person before they were a begeris was not a begeris. You're not saying that I'm different than everyone else, saying that everyone is healthy and I'm sick, right? And that's not what you're saying. You're saying that everyone is a begeris and I was everyone is begeris was always a begeris before. Everyone starts off as a katana and becomes a begeris, or an ara becomes a begeris. Okay. The Gemara makes another attempt to say that Rav and Shmuel follows these Tanoim. Name Makani Tanoi. Let's say it follows these. Kid Shavia Baderach v'Kid Shasma Be'ir. Exactly the case of our Mishnah. The father marries her off while he's on the road, and she gets married in the city. Okay. No, that wasn't the Mishnah. That's the case of Rav and Shmuel. The case of Rav and Shmuel. Areya Begeris. And now we check her and she's a Begeris. She's already mature, which means her marriage is acceptable and her father's is not. However, Tani Chada Hareya Begeris Lefanena. One brisa says, look, she's a Begeris right now. Her marriage is acceptable and her father's is not. But Tani Yida Cheshin LeKiddush name. The other brisa says that that we have to suspect the both of them. Yeah.
Do something that's wrong with what you said. Just 1 in 20 people worldwide, 1 in 20, had no health problems in 2013, with a third of the world's population experiencing more than 5 ailments, according to a major new analysis. In another article, over 95% of the world's population has health problems. Therefore, most of the world is not healthy.
Dr. Stein says most of the world is not healthy. Coming from a doctor. Yeah. I think insurance is making some money on that.
Look at the people in the world.
Oh, whoa. Don't throw the people in the world.
Okay. We're referring to the deathbed. We're not talking about aches and pains and whatever. And like Al-Hanan said, I'm planning on living forever. So far, it's going so good. Okay, so so my love, we have 2 brises here. My love, Chad Karav, Chad Kishmol. Now this is very clear. One brise is mamish, the words for Rav. One brise is literally the words for Shmuel. It says like Idivid Kishmol. We can fit both of them according to Shmuel. How are you going to do that? What's happening over here is that she's saying that I was already a begeris yesterday. She says, I know. Yesterday I was already a begeris. So therefore, we're going to say that her father's marriage is nothing because she's denying what they're telling her. And the other brisa that says that we have a doubt, she's not saying anything. So I don't know. Now I know now. I don't know before. You don't know before, so before is a doubt. But when she's saying that there's no doubt, when it's no doubt, when does that brisa say there's no doubt? That's because she was really denying what they were saying. And she's saying that I was already a begeris already yesterday. I already reached maturity yesterday. So her father's marriage is nothing. That's her claim. So she has a valid claim which takes away the father's father's claim. No, according to that, but what we're saying is that there's not even a machlekes between the brises. We have one brise that says this, one brise that says that. That's because the cases were different.
She likes her match better.
Yeah, well, that's assumed what's happening here, but nevertheless, we don't know. There is a reality that has to be met. Look at how well you got rid of a machlekes between brises by saying the case is different. Let's say that there's really no machlekes Rav and Shmuel, and let's just say that Rav was talking about when she's claiming that she was a begeris already yesterday, and Shmuel's talking about where she didn't claim that, and there's no machlekes. The Gemara says, "V'tizbra." Do you really think so? Rav Yosef Breder Menashe Mitzvah of the Kabasei the Rav. What happened was there was this Samayra Rav Yosef, the son of Rav Menashe from Deville. He actually paskin like Rav, and he told the girl that she's married to the one that she chose, not to the one that her father chose. The Ikbid Shmuel, and Shmuel got upset. Omar Kuli Alma Kaile Bekavazuta V'Haimid Rabban Kaile Bekavaraba. I think that means that everyone is more humble. They take small measurements, and you take like a huge measurement, thinking that you can rely on your own understanding, and to make such a psak. Shmuel was saying it's really a doubt, and you're just paskening like Rav. And if you want to say that there's really no machlekes Rav and Shmuel, so why was Shmuel getting upset? Maybe the reason why I was paskening like that is because she was saying that she was a big geris yesterday also, and that's why he paskened like that. Everyone would agree to that. Okay. So Amalei Marzutra Ravashi Hachi Amar Ameimar Hilchasa Kavasei the Shmuel. Marzutra says to Ravashi that Ameimar, who's their other friend, Marzutra Ravashi and Ameimar are friend, he says that the halach is like Shmuel. Ravashi Amar Hilchasa Kavasei the Rav. Ravashi says the halach is like Rav. V'Hilchasa Kavasei the Rav, and the halach is like Rav. Okay, I think we should leave it over here.
Thank you.
Did the road from Deville have a Cadillac?
Hey, Shalom.
I want to know if the Rav from Deville had a Cadillac.
Okay.
Okay.
Shalom.